listen closely, for this message cannot be delayed. God's chosen ones, today, September 26th, carries a quiet power, a hidden current that flows beneath the surface of ordinary time. It whispers to those who are awake, nudging the soul toward clarity and courage. In the midst of a world spinning faster than ever, this subtle energy offers a rare opportunity, a moment to awaken strength that has been dormant, to see what most fail to notice, and to align with a higher path. Few understand that certain days are not ordinary. They act as thresholds, brief windows when the universe tilts slightly, revealing truths normally concealed. On this day, ancient wisdom speaks of unseen energies, subtle shifts that can amplify focus, sharpen intuition, and ignite the disciplined spirit. The Shaolin masters knew these cycles, dedicating themselves to quiet practices that honed the mind and body precisely for moments like this. Today, you are invited to step into that awareness. In this video, you will uncover the principles that guide true mastery, how stillness becomes strength, how the breath can anchor the mind, and how disciplined action transforms uncertainty into clarity. You will learn to recognize subtle signals, to face hidden challenges, and to awaken courage that most only glimpse in dreams. These lessons carry urgency because they are rarely spoken aloud, and yet they hold the keys to personal mastery and inner freedom. Stay with this journey until the very end, for each insight builds upon the last, guiding you to a higher understanding of self, purpose, and timing. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, a sanctuary for those who seek depth, wisdom, and awakening. Subscribe now and step into the path that transforms ordinary days into thresholds of power. In the quiet between two heartbeats, the universe speaks. The Shaolin masters teach that stillness is not emptiness, nor is it retreat. It is a wellspring of power, a silent current that moves beneath the noise of the world. Long ago, in the courtyards of ancient temples, monks would sit for hours, motionless to the untrained eye, yet within, their minds were sharpened like forged steel, their awareness stretched to the edges of perception. When chaos rises, the body may tremble and the mind may scatter, but stillness becomes a refuge. In that pause, the clutter of fear, doubt, and distraction fades, revealing what truly matters. Decisions emerge not from impulse, but from clarity. Actions spring forth, not from reaction, but from insight. The energy of the world may swirl violently, yet the still heart remains unshaken, steady as a mountain. Even in modern life, moments of quiet carry this same strength. A brief pause between tasks, a few conscious breaths before speaking, a mindful step through a crowded street. These are not small acts. They are the practice of mastery in the present. By surrendering motion for a moment, one touches the deeper rhythm beneath the surface. You may notice, in those fleeting instants, a subtle shift, thoughts align, tension dissolves, intuition sharpens. This is the gift of stillness. It trains the mind to perceive the unseen, to listen when the world clamors, and to act with precision rather than haste. Embrace these pockets of silence, not as escape, but as cultivation. Let them be the quiet forge where strength is tempered and clarity is born. Each pause is a teacher, each breath a lesson in mastery. Even a single moment of stillness can ripple outward, guiding every choice, every movement toward balance and purpose. The rhythm of the breath is older than thought itself, a silent current that threads through every living moment. In the temples of Shaolin, monks have long understood that breath is more than air entering and leaving the body. It is the bridge between the visible and invisible, the anchor that binds the mind, body, and spirit in harmony. Each inhalation brings clarity. Each exhalation releases what clouds judgment or dims the heart. When the world presses with noise and urgency, the mind may flare with fear or confusion. In those moments, returning to the breath is an act of mastery. By drawing attention to its natural flow, one gains perspective. Emotions lose their grip, and insight emerges where chaos once ruled. The simplest pattern, a slow inhale, a deliberate exhale, can steady racing thoughts, sharpen intuition, and restore balance. The Shaolin masters trained this discipline daily, often in silence, moving through complex sequences of movement and stillness while guided only by their breathing. Over time, breath became more than life. It became a tool of focus, a source of calm strength, and a compass for action. This is not mystical theory, but a practice of self-command available to anyone who chooses to pay attention. Even in small, ordinary moments, the breath can guide the chosen ones. A pause to notice its depth before a difficult conversation, a mindful count of inhales and exhales during a restless mind, a quiet alignment of chest and belly with the rhythm of life. All of these cultivate authority over inner states. The practice requires patience, yet its simplicity is deceptive. The power it unlocks is profound. Through disciplined attention to each breath, one learns the art of inner control. Tension softens, clarity strengthens, and the spirit moves with purpose. Breath is never passive. It is the quiet gateway through which mastery flows, accessible in any moment, awaiting only recognition. Discipline is the quiet architect of mastery. In the halls of ancient Shaolin temples, strength was not granted by chance, nor was wisdom delivered overnight. It was forged daily through repetition, attention, and unwavering commitment. Every movement, every stance, every breath was practiced again and again, not for applause, but to cultivate resilience, precision, and self-command. True mastery is never abstract. It does not emerge from fleeting inspiration or sudden insight. It grows from small, consistent actions performed with intention. A monk rising before dawn to train, a hand drawn slowly through forms hundreds of times, a mind returned to focus again and again. These are the bricks with which inner strength is built. Discipline, when practiced in this way, becomes a living rhythm that aligns body, mind, and spirit. Even beyond the temple walls, this principle holds. Every life has moments where habits are inconsistent, where promises to oneself are delayed or ignored. Recognizing these gaps is the first step toward transformation. Discipline does not demand perfection. It demands presence, honesty, and the courage to continue despite fatigue, distraction, or resistance. Each small commitment, repeated daily, compounds into profound power. The Shaolin perspective reminds us that effort is never wasted. Each deliberate repetition, each intentional pause, each mindful choice strengthens the foundation of mastery. In life, as in practice, small, consistent actions shape character, sharpen judgment, and cultivate inner authority. Reflect on where discipline is missing in your own life. Is your mind wandering when focus is needed? Do routines collapse under pressure? Each realization is an invitation to begin again, to recommit to small, deliberate steps that build lasting strength. Discipline is not a burden, it is the vessel through which mastery flows, a patient guide leading toward clarity, balance, and true self-mastery. There are moments in time that hum with quiet intensity, invisible to most but unmistakable to those who are attentive. Ancient masters spoke of certain days, hours, and even breaths as carrying heightened energy, subtle currents that can illuminate truths normally hidden and guide the choices of those willing to notice. These energies are not loud or obvious. They move like shadows beneath the ordinary flow of life, shaping circumstances, sharpening perception, and revealing the patterns often overlooked. To sense these currents requires stillness, patience, and a cultivated awareness. The Shaolin masters taught that the body and mind can become attuned to rhythms beyond the visible world. Through meditation, disciplined practice, and careful observation, they learned to perceive the subtle shifts in energy that signal opportunity, caution, or clarity. Awareness of these invisible forces does not control fate, but empowers action, aligning intention with the natural flow of the universe. September 26th carries such subtle weight. It is a day that without fanfare can act as a threshold, a quiet pivot point where insight becomes sharper, intuition more precise, and choices resonate more deeply than usual. Those who move through this day with mindfulness may notice decisions becoming clearer, connections more vivid, and paths more aligned with purpose. Even small attentions, pausing to observe the mind, tuning into the rhythm of breath, listening to the quiet guidance of intuition, can reveal the energy beneath the surface. These moments teach that mastery is not only in action but in perception, in the ability to read what others cannot see. Awareness of subtle energies cultivates discernment, patience, and inner authority. By recognizing these hidden currents, one learns to navigate life with wisdom, timing, and a clarity that transforms ordinary days into gateways of possibility. The mind is a garden, and what is allowed to take root shapes the life it bears. Shaolin masters understood that not every thought, emotion, or sensation deserves attention. To cultivate clarity, they practice detachment, not as cold indifference, but as careful discernment. By choosing where to place their energy, they preserved focus, sharpened awareness, and allowed the essential to flourish. Distraction is subtle. It whispers through constant noise, fleeting desires, and the pull of external opinions. Left unchecked, it scatters energy, clouds judgment, and weakens resolve. Detachment does not reject life, it refines it. It teaches that the heart can feel deeply while remaining anchored, and the mind can observe without being swept away. In this balance, presence becomes effortless, and action emerges from insight rather than reaction. Shaolin meditation offers a powerful example. Sitting in stillness, monks observe thoughts as clouds passing through the sky of the mind. No thought is clung to, no impulse followed blindly. The practice trains attention like a blade, cutting through the clutter to reveal what is vital. Each breath, each subtle shift in posture, reinforces the discipline of discerning what deserves energy and what must be released. In daily life, this principle is equally profound. Every conversation, every piece of information, every habit either nourishes or drains the spirit. By applying detachment, one creates mental space for clarity, intuition, and intentional action. The chosen ones learn to move through the world with focused energy, untouched by chaos, yet fully alive to its lessons. Detachment is the art of prioritizing the inner over the outer, the enduring over the fleeting. It is neither avoidance nor apathy, but a refined awareness that strengthens every choice. Through it, the mind becomes a clear mirror, reflecting reality with precision, and the spirit moves with quiet, unstoppable purpose. The fiercest battles are not fought with swords or shields, but within the quiet chambers of the mind. Fear whispers in corners, doubt creeps into decisions, and distraction veils the path ahead. These are the unseen adversaries that test the resolve of every seeker, the hidden trials that shape true strength. Ancient masters recognized this. Before the body can be disciplined, the mind must be tamed. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it without surrender. God's chosen ones are summoned not to avoid inner struggle, but to confront it directly. The moment a fear is acknowledged, its grip loosens. When doubt is named and observed, it transforms from a shadow that paralyzes into a teacher that guides. Each inner challenge, met with honesty and resolve, becomes a step toward mastery. Shaolin teachings often describe this process through meditation and mindful reflection. Monks sit with their thoughts, allowing anxieties, regrets, and worries to surface without judgment. They observe the patterns of the mind, understanding that resistance only strengthens these inner demons. By facing them calmly, with steady breath and clear awareness, fear loses its illusion of control. In life beyond the temple, the principle is the same. Every hesitation, every shadow of self-doubt is an invitation to grow stronger. Courage arises when one stops hiding and begins to see clearly, when the heart meets uncertainty with openness rather than recoil. It is a quiet, persistent force that builds resilience over time. Acknowledging the hidden struggles within is not weakness, it is mastery in action. Each fear confronted, each doubt examined, chips away at the power of the inner adversary. Step by step, the chosen ones learn that the mind, disciplined and courageous, can transform even the darkest shadows into clarity, insight, and strength that guides every choice. Every movement carries energy, every thought leaves a trace, and every word shapes the world in subtle ways. Ancient masters understood that when actions are untethered from purpose, energy dissipates and the spirit grows restless. Alignment with a higher purpose is the compass that turns ordinary effort into mastery and fleeting intention into lasting impact. Clarity of purpose acts like a magnet, drawing guidance, opportunity, and insight toward those who move with intention. In Shaolin practice, every stance, strike, and step is deliberate, chosen to serve a larger discipline. There is no wasted motion, no effort without reason. The body, mind, and spirit move in synchrony, each reinforcing the other. When purpose is clear, the smallest effort becomes potent, and even ordinary days carry extraordinary potential. Purpose is not discovered in noise or haste. It is revealed in quiet reflection, in the still moments when distractions fade and the heart's true calling whispers. To act without this clarity is to scatter energy, to move like a ship without rudder. To act with it is to flow like water, powerful, precise, and inexhaustible. Pause and ask, do your daily choices echo the deepest truths within you? Does your work, your relationships, your inner discipline reflect the path you were meant to follow? The chosen ones are those who constantly return to this question, aligning thought, word, and deed with their highest calling. When every action resonates with purpose, life itself becomes a teacher. Challenges transform into lessons, obstacles into opportunities, and energy once lost to distraction flows instead into creation and insight. Alignment with purpose is not merely a principle, it is the rhythm of mastery, the quiet force that turns intention into power and discipline into freedom. True mastery is often revealed not in calm, but in the crucible of urgency. When pressure mounts and the world demands immediate action, the strength of character shows itself. The Shaolin masters taught that it is in these moments that the mind must be most disciplined, the breath most steady, and the heart most attuned to wisdom. Decisions made in haste, without awareness, scatter energy and invite error. Decisions made with presence, even under pressure, reveal clarity, discernment, and inner authority. In urgent times, the practice of pausing becomes a profound act of power. A brief moment to inhale, to center attention, to feel the weight of the choice, transforms reaction into deliberate action. Conscious breathing anchors the body and mind, allowing insight to surface where fear and impulse might otherwise dominate. Consulting inner guidance, listening to the quiet voice that has learned from reflection, discipline, and experience becomes a compass through the storm. The chosen ones are called to this level of vigilance. They do not rush blindly, nor do they ignore the demands of the moment. Instead, they act as guardians of wisdom, holding their attention like a blade, ready to respond with precision. Each choice becomes a reflection of their mastery, a declaration that discipline and clarity guide them even when the external world grows chaotic. Every urgent moment is an opportunity. To pause is not weakness, but a testament to strength. To breathe is not escape, but a return to command. To consult the inner self is not hesitation, but alignment with truth. Those who cultivate these habits turn pressure into revelation, challenge into growth, and fleeting moments into acts of conscious power. In the dance of urgency, mastery reveals itself not through speed, but through the depth of awareness that guides every step. Wisdom alone is fragile if it remains only in thought. The teachings of the ancients, the disciplines of Shaolin, and the insights of the spirit gain their true power only when they are woven into the fabric of daily life. Mastery is not a momentary act of inspiration. It is the quiet repetition of mindful choices, small gestures, and consistent attention to the present. Stillness, for example, is not reserved for meditation halls. It can be carried into the pause before a conversation, the breath before a decision, the moment between tasks. Breath, disciplined and conscious, becomes a companion in every step, steadying the mind and centering the heart. Courage is practiced not only in extraordinary trials, but in facing the subtle fears and doubts that appear in ordinary moments. Awareness and discernment flourish when attention is brought deliberately to each action, each thought, and each word. The path of integration favors small, deliberate steps over grand gestures. A single, mindful action repeated daily shapes character more profoundly than a rare display of intensity. Shaolin masters understood this principle intimately. Every strike, every stance, every hour of training contributed to a lifetime of mastery. The same principle applies beyond the temple. Small moments of discipline and reflection compound into clarity, strength, and alignment with purpose. Daily integration is a practice of presence. It teaches that the teachings are alive, not abstract, that mastery is measured not by accolades or recognition, but by the quiet authority of mind and heart. Each moment becomes a field in which wisdom can take root. By bringing stillness, breath, discipline, awareness, and courage into ordinary routines, the chosen ones transform life itself into a school of mastery, where every day offers the opportunity to act with insight, strength, and enduring purpose. There is a force that moves quietly, unseen by most, yet it shapes every action, every decision, and every moment of life. It is the power of presence, the ability to inhabit fully the body, mind, and awareness of the world around. Shaolin masters called it the mind's clarity in motion, a state where the senses are alert, the heart steady, and the spirit aligned with the task at hand. In presence, even the simplest act gains depth, and every choice carries the weight of intention. To be present is not merely to observe. It is to engage without distraction, to feel without attachment, and to act without hesitation. A movement becomes precise, a word becomes impactful, and a thought becomes intentional. Ancient teachings remind us that the mind scattered is the mind weak, while the mind rooted in presence becomes a shield and a source of power. In the courtyard of the temple, a monk moving through a sequence of forms embodies this fully, every step aware of balance, every breath synchronized with energy, every eye attuned to the surroundings. Presence is both protective and empowering. It guards against impulsive reactions, clouded judgment, and wasted energy. At the same time, it amplifies intuition, focus, and influence, allowing the practitioner to navigate challenges with grace and confidence. When the body, mind, and environment are perceived as a single continuum, the chosen ones move through life with clarity, resilience, and authority. Even outside the temple, presence can transform ordinary moments into acts of mastery. Listening fully in conversation, observing the subtle cues in a room, centering attention before taking action, these are practices that cultivate this power. Presence teaches that mastery is not only in skill or knowledge, but in the conscious inhabiting of each moment. It is the quiet force that makes every gesture, every word, and every choice resonate far beyond its immediate measure. The greatest urgency is not in the noise of the world, but in the quiet of the self. Mastery, courage, and awareness are the true measures of God's chosen ones. September 26th is more than a date. It is a subtle call to awaken, to step into clarity, to act with discipline, and to move with purpose. The lessons we have explored: stillness, breath, discipline, awareness, courage, presence, are not distant ideals. They are tools, practices, and reminders that can guide each choice, each thought, each action. The path of mastery is walked moment by moment, step by step, rooted in simple acts carried out with intention. Embrace the stillness when it comes. Anchor yourself in conscious breath and allow purpose to shape every decision. Face fears with quiet courage and observe the subtle energies that guide your way. Let the wisdom of these teachings flow into daily life, transforming ordinary moments into opportunities for growth, clarity, and strength. The message of today cannot wait. Step into the rhythm of self-mastery, honor your inner guidance, and move with calm, deliberate power. By doing so, every day becomes a threshold, every moment a chance to rise. If this message resonates, take it to heart and let it shape the day ahead. Support the journey by liking this video and join our community by subscribing to Shaolin Soulfire, where wisdom, presence, and inner strength are cultivated with each step. Peace, clarity, and purpose accompany you on this path.